You finish your lunch and settle into your favorite chair. 30 minutes pass, and suddenly you feel a heavy, throbbing pulse in your temples. Your chest feels strangely tight, and your heart starts racing like you just climbed a steep flight of stairs. Most people assume this is just heavy digestion or a natural part of getting older. Those assumptions are completely wrong. If your blood pressure is spiking after every meal, you are facing a hidden cardiovascular crisis that standard medical checkups completely miss. This pressure surge is actually a terrifying biological traffic jam occurring inside your body. I am Dr. Jason Collins, a board-certified interventional cardiologist. Over my years of clinical practice, I have treated thousands of patients who ignored these exact warnings. Every time you dismiss sudden facial flushing or chest heaviness after eating, you push your cardiovascular system into a highly dangerous zone. However, you possess the exact power to stop this immediately. Later in this video, I will reveal a clinically proven 90-second method that safely forces your high blood pressure back to normal. But before we access that life-saving switch, you absolutely must understand the hidden mistake you make right after eating that silently destroys your arteries. The damage actually begins the very second you swallow your last bite of food. Think of your circulatory system as a massive, perfectly balanced highway network. Whenever you eat a substantial meal, your digestive organs suddenly demand enormous amounts of energy to process that food. To handle this heavy workload, your body immediately redirects up to 20% of your entire blood volume straight down into your stomach and intestines. Medical professionals call this biological event splanchnic pooling. For a healthy young adult, this massive shift of blood traffic happens smoothly and completely unnoticed. However, as we age, our internal sensors start to lose their sharp calibration. For a specific group of seniors, this sudden rush of blood to the gut triggers a massive false alarm. Your aging cardiovascular system detects that massive 20% drop in circulating blood pressure elsewhere and completely panics. It mistakenly believes you are rapidly losing blood volume. Before I reveal the terrifying way your heart reacts to this sudden false alarm, take a quick second to tell me in the comments below where you are watching from and what physical signs you notice right after eating. Do you feel tired, dizzy, or notice your heart pounding? Sharing your experience helps us build a real community of people taking back their health. Also, subscribe to the channel so you never miss these critical medical insights. Now let us return to that internal panic happening inside your body. Because your system falsely believes it is failing, it instantly triggers an intense emergency response to compensate for the missing blood. Instead of gently adjusting the flow, your body slams its foot hard on the accelerator. Your heart radically overcompensates, pumping much harder and faster than it actually needs to. But the real hidden danger is not just how hard your heart is pumping right now. The true physical threat lies in what your blood vessels are actively doing at that exact same moment. While your heart is furiously beating faster, your brain simultaneously activates your sympathetic nervous system. You can think of this specific system as the ultimate automated gas pedal for your entire body. Because your brain falsely believes you are losing blood volume, this gas pedal sends an urgent chemical signal to your peripheral blood vessels. These are the vital arteries located farthest from your heart, primarily running into your arms and legs. To keep blood concentrated near your core organs, these distant vessels abruptly clamp down and tighten completely. Now picture a regular garden hose with water flowing freely. If you suddenly squeeze the nozzle tight while turning the water tap up to full blast, the pressure inside that hose immediately skyrockets. That is exactly the violent physical reaction happening inside your circulatory system right after lunch. Your heart is forced to pump with extreme, unnecessary force against these rapidly narrowing arterial channels. This intense internal struggle is exactly what causes dangerous blood pressure spikes after eating. You might be wondering why your doctor has never mentioned this serious threat to you before. The answer comes down to timing and standard medical clinic routines. Whenever you visit your physician for a regular checkup, they always measure your blood pressure while you are resting quietly. Most importantly, your blood pressure is usually measured on an empty stomach long before your afternoon meal. Since you have not eaten anything heavy, your digestive system is resting and your blood flows perfectly normally. This means the dangerous post-meal pressure spike remains completely hidden on their medical charts. Your physician only sees a calm cardiovascular system during that quiet morning visit. They have absolutely no idea what happens inside your chest 30 minutes after you finish a large plate of food. But your body always leaves very distinct physical clues when this massive pressure surge occurs. The symptoms of post-meal blood pressure spikes are incredibly specific, yet many people ignore them every single day. You must know exactly what those dangerous hidden warning signs feel like before they cause irreversible damage to your arteries. Those warning signs usually appear exactly 30 to 90 minutes after you finish your meal. This is the exact window when your digestive system demands the absolute most blood. The very first clue is often a heavy, throbbing sensation right in your temples or at the back of your head. Many older adults dismiss this specific pulsing pain as a simple tension headache from a long day. But clinical data proves this throbbing is actually the direct physical result of your systolic blood pressure suddenly shooting upward. Your blood vessels in your head are literally straining against that intense pressure surge. The next warning sign feels much more terrifying for anyone experiencing it. You might suddenly feel a heavy pressure resting directly on your chest, almost like a dull ache. At the exact same time, you may notice your heart racing or even feel like it is skipping beats entirely. This racing sensation happens because your heart is desperately trying to push blood through those clamped down peripheral arteries we discussed earlier. Your heart muscle is essentially lifting heavy weights without your permission. It is overworking itself just to keep your circulation moving against that massive internal resistance. You might also experience a sudden wave of heat rushing up into your neck and face. This facial flushing occurs because your brain releases a massive surge of stress chemicals that trigger cardiovascular panic. Sometimes this intense pressure surge even causes dark spots to blur your vision or makes you feel unsteady on your feet. Most people associate dizziness with low blood pressure and fainting. However, this specific post-meal dizziness comes from excessive, dangerous pressure pounding against your delicate blood vessels. If these specific physical sensations sound familiar to you, you belong to the rare group of older adults experiencing this severe sympathetic overcompensation. Your aging body is silently screaming for immediate help. The 90-second breathing switch I am going to share could become your best defense against this hidden threat. But before you can safely use that life-saving technique, we need to address something extremely urgent. You are likely performing specific daily habits right after eating that actively multiply this cardiovascular strain. Let us uncover the fatal post-meal routine mistakes you must stop making today. The very first mistake is moving directly from your kitchen chair to your favorite living room recliner. Sinking into a deep cushion and sitting completely still for hours is incredibly dangerous. When you sit without moving your legs, gravity immediately pulls massive amounts of blood down into your calves. Because your leg muscles are resting, they cannot pump that pooled blood back upward. A major clinical study from the University of Gloucestershire proved exactly how damaging this is. They found that sitting for 3 hours after a heavy meal drastically increases arterial stiffness and reduces healthy blood vessel function by 11%. Your heart is literally grinding itself down just to push blood through those stiff, motionless legs. If you are finding these medical truths helpful for protecting your future, please take one quick second to gently tap the like button below. It truly helps this vital cardiovascular information reach other seniors who desperately need to hear it today. Another truly massive mistake is drinking ice-cold water with your hot meals. Many people think a freezing glass of water aids digestion. The clinical reality is completely different. When that freezing liquid hits your warm stomach, it triggers a violent temperature shock. Your body panics and immediately tightens your blood vessels to conserve core heat. Your heart is already struggling with the digestive blood shift, and now it must fight against newly tightened arteries. The absolute worst habit is lying completely flat on your back immediately after eating. When you recline fully, you remove the helpful force of gravity that normally assists your blood circulation. Clinical data shows that older adults can experience a massive blood pressure spike straight to 151 simply by lying down after a meal. Your tired heart is forced to work extremely hard against a severe physical and anatomical disadvantage. You are accidentally building a perfect storm of cardiovascular pressure inside your chest every single afternoon. Fortunately, your body possesses an emergency brake designed to stop this exact crisis. This biological brake pedal is entirely controlled by one specific nerve highway. Understanding how to activate this hidden nerve will change your life completely. Let us uncover exactly how this incredible neurological system immediately protects your racing heart today. That emergency brake protecting your racing heart is completely controlled by a massive neurological pathway called the vagus nerve. You can picture this crucial nerve as the ultimate built-in brake pedal for your entire cardiovascular system. Whenever your sympathetic nervous system aggressively hits the gas pedal after a meal, your vagus nerve stands ready to force everything back into a calm state. But here is the critical problem most people face today. You cannot activate this powerful brake pedal just by thinking about relaxing. You actually have to physically pull the lever hidden inside your chest. When you breathe deeply into your belly instead of your upper chest, a large muscle called your diaphragm pushes downward by roughly 10 to 15 centimeters. This deep physical movement mechanically compresses your internal abdominal organs and creates a massive biological shift. As your lower lungs expand fully, specialized stretch receptors instantly fire urgent signals straight up into your brainstem. These signals travel directly along your vagus nerve to reach your brain's master control center. Top-tier researchers at the University of Caen, Normandy, documented exactly how powerful this biological switch truly is. Their clinical trials revealed that this specific breathing mechanism increases your cardiac vagal activity by a staggering 45.5%. It literally floods your racing heart with calming chemicals that instantly override the dangerous post-meal panic. Your tightened blood vessels finally relax and open up, allowing that trapped blood to flow freely again without resistance. Johns Hopkins Medicine confirms that using your diaphragm directly lowers your harmful stress response. The medical science proving this connection is absolutely undeniable. However, simply knowing about your internal brake pedal is completely useless unless you know exactly how to press it correctly. The specific timing of your breath changes everything about your results. If you breathe too fast, you will keep the panic locked inside your arteries. Next, I will walk you through the precise 90-second physical execution required to flip this biological switch safely and effectively every single day. You must position your body correctly before taking your first breath. Sit upright on the edge of your chair and place one hand flat against your bare stomach. This hand becomes your physical feedback monitor. When you inhale, your stomach must push that hand outward while your chest remains completely still. If your shoulders rise upward, you are doing it wrong and actively feeding the panic. Now, we will use a highly effective clinical technique called resonance frequency breathing. You will inhale deeply through your nose for exactly 4 seconds. Then, you will exhale slowly through pursed lips for exactly 6 seconds. That creates one perfect 10-second cycle. You are aiming for exactly 6 breathing cycles every single minute. This specific rhythmic timing synchronizes flawlessly with your internal biological cycle. Many patients ask why we specifically call this a 90-second method when standard clinical blood pressure cuffs take several minutes to register a full drop. The medical answer is truly fascinating. You do not need to practice this all afternoon. 90 seconds of this exact rhythm acts as your ultimate biological trigger point. Within that precise window, your brainstem floods your heart with a calming chemical called acetylcholine. You are physically flipping the neurological switch. Clinical trials definitively confirm that hitting this exact rhythm triggers a massive 45.5% surge in calming vagal activity. Your sympathetic nervous system immediately stops forcing your peripheral blood vessels closed. That intense throbbing in your temples begins to fade away because the physical resistance inside your arteries disappears completely. Your racing heart no longer has to fight against violently trapped blood. You have successfully stopped the immediate cardiovascular panic. Your blood vessels are finally relaxed and completely open. However, your blood is still physically pooled heavily inside your lower legs from sitting. If you remain stuck in that chair, the dangerous pressure surge will inevitably return. To permanently lock in this lower blood pressure and protect your heart, you must execute one final crucial movement. This final step takes exactly 2 minutes, and it is absolutely vital for your long-term safety. You must stand up immediately after finishing your breathing. Do not sit there and wait for the pressure to build again. This 2-minute walking window acts as your critical escape route from sitting paralysis. When you remain seated, gravity traps the blood in your lower legs. But the very second you start walking, your calf muscles begin contracting. These leg muscles function as powerful secondary hearts. They physically squeeze your veins and pump that pooled blood forcefully back up toward your chest. Clinical research demonstrates that breaking your seated position drastically reduces your cardiovascular workload. Engaging in light post-meal movement blunts dangerous glucose spikes by up to 17%. This simple action prevents your arteries from stiffening and relieves the massive burden placed upon your heart. You only require 120 seconds of light movement around your living room to properly reset your circulatory flow. Your daily plan to lower blood pressure naturally after meals is incredibly straightforward. Perform the 90-second vagal breathing to stop the immediate panic, then walk for 2 minutes to clear the trapped blood. Please share this medical information with anyone you love who struggles with unexplained post-meal fatigue or hidden heart palpitations. I simply want to prevent unnecessary cardiovascular tragedies in our older community. However, lowering your pressure after lunch is only half the battle. What you actually consume for dinner determines your baseline cardiovascular health. There is one specific evening vegetable that physically forces your blood vessels to stay completely open all night long. You can discover exactly what that powerful vegetable is by clicking the video appearing on your screen right now.